Hi there, I'm Dan Rusthoi, uncle to Bruce and Corrine and brother-in-law to Don. And I'm sorry I can't be with you here today at the celebration of Don's life. But if you knew Don, you knew what a great guy he was. And I'd like to share with you what he meant to me. He came into the family when I was 12 to marry my oldest sister, and he was a fantastic addition. So much fun to be with, so enthusiastic, so adventuresome. We had great fun as a family, and we really clicked. He really helped me. He was a very strong masculine influence, a role model in my life that I needed at that time. He took me under his wing. He called me his protege. He wrote letters to me. He took time to write letters to this little 12, 13-year-old boy. He wanted to share what was going on in his life. He wanted to know what was going on in my life, and I really appreciated that. He taught me lots of things. He thought I should be a budding scientist. He was taking correspondence classes through the International Correspondence School, or ICS. And so he re-established something called the Junior ICS. And so through letters, we set up problems. He taught me how to use the slide rule. He taught me how to take logarithms. And of course, none of that is done today because we have computers. But he was very, very attentive to a time when I really needed that kind of help. I spent summers, or many weeks of summers out there at the house, helping to weed the garden and this sort of thing. And he was just a joy to be with. It was his influence that got me to thinking about going to college. I grew up in a family that did not appreciate higher education. In fact, the church that we attended preached against sending your kids to the college or university. But Don was there for me. He encouraged me to go on, and he actually encouraged me to apply to the University of California, Berkeley, his alma mater. And to my surprise, Berkeley accepted me, and I was able to graduate from Berkeley as well. Then there were many years where there were family moves and family changes, divorces and marriages, and I lived overseas for a number of years with my wife. So I didn't see Don for close to 40 plus years. But we reconnected here in Sacramento in Folsom, and I began visiting him 2 or 3 times a year. We celebrated our birthdays together. And I was very happy this past year that we were able to celebrate his birthday a little early. We did it in June. And I'm very happy that I was able to spend a couple of days during his last week at Brookdale. We spent a lot of time talking about important things. We talked about the afterlife. And Don was really very interested in moving on. And one day we took him outside, and as we were going back through the dining hall, he saw the big grand piano, and he asked me to play some tunes for him, which I did. And then he requested a song which I found out was one of his favorites, called Jesus Breaks Every Fetter. Just a simple little song. I think that Don probably had a significant spiritual experience that this song reminds him of. The words are very easy. Jesus breaks every fetter, and he sets me free. Bruce asked me to play that. Those last few months, those last few weeks, and especially the last few days, Don was ready to be set free. And I think that's why this song came up, and he wanted to hear it again. You know, when your body starts to shut down, you get old. If you hadn't already thought about it, you wonder, what's next? Well, Don knew, and he was ready, very ready to go. There's one other piece that Bruce said was one of Don's favorites, and it's called the Eastern Gate. It references the biblical mythology that heaven is the new Jerusalem. Jerusalem, when it was built, had like 12 gates for the 12 tribes of Israel. They don't have that many today, but there is still one that's called the Eastern Gate. And perhaps Bruce will share with you the lyrics to this song. But it says, "I will meet you in the morning just inside the Eastern Gate over there." Let me play it for you. You know, in my teen years, Don was the single most influential person in my life. I told him that many times. I don't think he realized how much of an influence he had on me, but it was a very good influence. I loved him and he loved me, even though we didn't see each other for many years. But for those of you here who love Don, you will see him some morning over there.